as we gather here today to learn more of this Advent, this adventure of the spiritual path, to see how this story of Christmas can play out in our own consciousness. We give thanks for being here now. We give thanks for this gathering. We give thanks for Christmas music. We open our hearts, we open our minds to a greater understanding of who we are as an expression of spirit. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
And I see that we're live streaming now. And yes, thank you to our AV team for overcoming obstacles. Yay! And welcome to our Unity of Hagerstown first Sunday in Advent service. We're glad that you're here with us. And I invite you to join with me in our mission statement. Together, Unity of Hagerstown, a welcoming community, embraces spiritual awakening through affirmative prayer and meditation, creating a positive path of abundant living for all. And now we'll have a reading of the daily word and the lighting of the Advent candle with Arnie.
You could use that.
You need a mic.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hopefully everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. So, today's word of the day, hope and faith. As Advent begins, I welcome the opportunity to reflect more deeply on what I hope for and what I affirm for my life. Hope is a seed, a possibility. My divine faculty of an imagination allows the seed of hope to sprout. Nurtured by faith, the seed takes root and grows from I hope to I believe. I may have once hoped God would help me. Now that I have faith, through the Christ within, I can help myself. I may have once hoped for the life of my dreams. Now I have faith, I can create the life I want through the power of my feelings and thoughts. I believe. I mindfully use these words at the start of my Advent journey and beyond. From Colossians 1:27, to them God chose to make known how great among the Gentiles are the riches of the glory of this mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. Again, Colossians 1:27. And let's read the inspiration for today. Inspired by hope and assured by faith, I begin my Advent journey. Let's hold that in our heart space for a moment. Let's reflect on that. Take a breath. And one more time. Inspired by hope and assured by faith, I begin my Advent journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnie. And now we have an opportunity to greet our neighbors, my friends. One of the most fun parts of the service, right? So it looks like we're all regulars here, or at least not first timers, so you know the drill. Let's say hello to everybody that you can within the short period of time. The music will bring us back. And if you're willing to come up and stand here and wave to those on Facebook, and by the way, those on Facebook and YouTube, please write something in the comments section so that we can greet you afterwards. We can comment on your comments. Yeah. Okay, just say hello.
everybody. So you can join in with me. Another beautiful Christmas song. Music is what life is about. It came. Wait a minute. Sorry. I gotta capo this. Gotta get the key right. It came. It was six. I gotta get the key. It's way too high. That's mine. It came upon a midnight clear, that glorious song of old. Angels standing near the earth to touch their hearts of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men, from heaven's all gracious King. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. For now the days are hastening on, our promised bars foretold. When with the ever-circling hills shall come the age of gold. When peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendors fling, and all the world give back the song which now the angels sing.
Thank you, Joe. Beautiful song. And I love how we just, nothing phases us. We just pick up and just go.
And thank you for that.
Yes. Okay. So, as we've stated already, this is the first Sunday of Advent, an adventure along our spiritual journey that begins with hope and faith and ultimately leads us to joy, right? Each Sunday. So even as Mary and Joseph traveled to Bethlehem for the birth of Jesus, we are on our own spiritual trip with our thoughts and our emotions. Metaphysically, are Mary and Joseph in consciousness traveling to the city of David, the city of Bethlehem, the city of love, and there give birth to a greater understanding of the Christ consciousness within. Don't worry, you're going to hear those words over and over again for the next 3 Sundays, okay? Okay, so this first Sunday begins with faith. Just as we need faith in beginning any trip, when we're starting out on a journey, we need faith that we're going to arrive at our destination, that we're going to get to the airport in time, whatever it is. We need faith stepping out. Our spiritual adventure calls for faith to begin. We're going to look at the story in the Gospel of Luke of Zacharias and Elizabeth. The Gospel of Luke does not start with the birth of Jesus. It starts pre that. It starts with Elizabeth, Mary's cousin, and Zacharias. You may be familiar with this story. They were both righteous before God. The Gospel of Luke says, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord, they were held blameless. And they had no child, for Elizabeth was barren. And they were both now stricken, well stricken in years. And it came to pass, while Zacharias executed the priest's office, he was a priest before God in the order of his course, his duty was to burn incense. And he went to the temple of the Lord at the altar, while many people stood outside praying at the time. And unto Zacharias there appeared an angel of the Lord. When Zacharias saw him, of course, he was troubled, he was afraid, he was fearful. But the angel said, "Fear not, for thy prayer is heard, and you and your wife shall have a son, and you'll call him John." Zacharias said, well, this is my own interpretation. How can that be? That's just not going to happen because we're both old now. Okay. And because of his disbelief, Zacharias was struck dumb. He could no longer speak. So we're going to look at this section. I'm going to pause at the story, look at this section metaphysically. And for those of you who may not be familiar, a metaphysical interpretation of the Bible is seeing each of the character as a state of consciousness within us. So Zacharias is really symbolic of the times when we have maybe an intellectual understanding of spiritual principle. We understand it intellectually, but we haven't yet embodied it. We're in transition from one to the other, growing our faith. And it can be a slow process, and it can also be an overnight process. Zacharias was a holy man, a priest, but even with all of his learning, his knowledge, he still had not yet embodied this faith. Incense signifies transmutation, changing from one form to another, from solid to smoke. So the story really is all about change, a change in consciousness with Zacharias. Incense can also be symbolic of prayers being lifted up. An angel is typically a message from God, a message, a divine idea, an aha moment that we may receive, and clarity upon waking up. I was like, oh yeah, I got it now. And the altar is the stillness within, where we lay down limiting thoughts, fearful thoughts, for more expansive ones. So this story, changing our consciousness, lifting up our faith, continues. But first I want to just kind of share with you, because we heard about hope and faith in the daily word, that there is a difference between these two, although they are related. Hope, I've heard this definition, is emotional. Belief is intellectual. Faith is spiritual. For example, I hope everything will work out. I believe things could work out. I have faith that things are working out perfectly. So there's the difference in example. So both Zacharias and Elizabeth were probably beyond hope when it comes to having a child at this point. The story says that they were righteous, though, and right-minded in thinking positive and uplifting thoughts. But that's not enough. When we are given guidance from within, from that deep well of wisdom that we all have, from that still small voice within, maybe you call it an intuitive whisper, whatever, that little gentle nudge, if we do not have enough faith to follow it, then perhaps we are struck dumb symbolically. Maybe not literally, but our word, our creative energy behind our word, becomes stalled out. It loses power. So how do we know when it's divine wisdom that we're feeling or sensing and not our own thoughts? Well, perhaps they're the same at times. But I will tell you, in my experience, that divine wisdom that doesn't go away, that keeps nudging and nudging, and maybe a little bit louder each time, comes frequently after time spent in meditation, or as I mentioned earlier, when we wake up from sleep. It comes as well, often in unexpected ways, something that, in my experience, I generally say no to. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. Until it's like, yes, I'm going to the altar and letting go of the fear and coming into an expanded consciousness. So Zacharias, again, believed he and his wife were just beyond the age of having children. When we place our faith on our intellect or on our reasoning ability only, and choose not to place it on things unseen with the physical eye, they can be seen with the spiritual lens, then the power center, the center of our throat, which is the power center because we speak words that are powerful, we lose that ability. Zacharias did not believe the message that he received. This happens for all of us. Often we need to suspend our disbelief or our judgments about a situation in order to perceive a deeper truth. So as the story continues, the angel next heads over to Mary, who was a ways away, cousin of Elizabeth, and tells Mary that Elizabeth's going to have a baby. And oh, by the way, so are you, right? That's the story. So what does Mary do? She leaves immediately to go visit Elizabeth. Now, is this another case of Mary doubting, or somebody doubting this story? Did Mary need to see for herself what was going on? I don't know. The scriptures don't tell us that. But we all at times may doubt that inner guidance. We have to see for ourselves. We have to prove it for ourselves. Faith, as Linda Martello-Whitsett defines it, is that quality, not Martello-Whitsett. I pushed the slide too soon, but that's okay, we'll go with it. Faith is that quality in us which enables us to look past appearances of lack, limitation, or difficulty, to take hold of a divine idea and believe in it even though we do not see any evidence of it except in our own mind. Faith is that perceiving power within us. Martello-Whitsett tells us that it also has two other qualities, not only the power of perception, but the power of conviction, that trust, that assurance, that knowing, and also expectancy. We expect it to be so. Faith is the power to really make the impossible or seemingly impossible possible. Our sense of reality is based on what we believe to be true, based on our perceptions, our awareness or consciousness. It forms our experience, our life experience. Because then we'll go out and gather evidence to prove that our what we believe is to be true. For instance, if I believe this is going to be a bad day, I'm going to gather evidence to prove that it's so, right? Or if I believe it's going to be a good day, I'm going to look for things that are uplifting. So that's why it's probably always smart to question those thoughts that lead us to making stories, right? To seek a higher truth about our own spiritual qualities, about the goodness of the universe, truth about the interconnectedness and the essential friendliness of people. Essential. It may not always be seen, but it's there. Truth about the law of mind action, the thoughts that we hold in mind produce in the outer after their kind. So faith is not passive. We exercise our faith. When we see the light shining in another person, when we see a limiting situation and know that that's not the whole story, we see the hidden truth there, truth with a capital T. And this leads us to that second aspect of faith, conviction. The trust, the assurance, the confidence that we find resting in the truth, having a peaceful mind. Ernest Holmes tells us when we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. We must learn to come under that divine government and accept the fact that nature's table is ever filled. Never was there a cosmic famine. God is God. When we have the confidence not only in the abundance of the universe, but when the understanding that we are connected to the source of that prosperity. So when Mary saw Elizabeth after traveling to see her, she rejoiced and she blessed both the babe and Elizabeth. Again, Mary had no problem, seemingly, in accepting the news from Gabriel about her own pregnancy But it does seem like she wanted to see for herself what was up with Elizabeth. And after her seeing her cousin, she was then able to move into a place of trust. So how often do we need to see proof for ourselves before moving into that confidence, into that assurance? Faith is our creative ability that comes from our perceiving power, how we see things, not with the physical eye, but with the spiritual lens. Do we need to see goodness in someone before we can know that their very essence is goodness? Do we need to try out little acts of creation, like finding a parking space, before we can know that something that we feel is major is within our reach as well? Course in Miracles tells us there is no order of difficulty in miracles, just by the way. So living in trust comes from a consciousness that we have prepared through our spiritual practices, from time spent at the inner altar, letting go of those limiting thoughts, those fearful thoughts, for more expansive ones of who we are, how we are one with the one, and learning to trust from those practices. There are certainly times when we may feel that we cannot trust ourselves or even trust others. When we have insecurities about something, it's more difficult to trust. But when we come from a place of inner security ourselves, it's interesting that we are better able to detect someone who we can't trust. So Jim Lockhart tells us, look at trust as emanating from spirit through the levels of your subconscious mind and emerging as a sense of yourself, complete with resulting behaviors. Seen in this light, it becomes obvious that the place to do our work on developing trust is our inner work. We do not depend on others to change. We change ourselves from within to a better version of who we are, and we trust in spirit enough to engage in this process. So, living in faith, we maintain a sense of expectancy, the third quality to faith. Expecting the good, anticipating that things will go well, expecting to be blessed, expecting to have guidance when we need it, expecting to see the light in the darkness. After Elizabeth delivers a healthy baby boy, Zacharias finds his ability to speak has been restored once more, and it said he was filled with the Spirit. Even when we are transitioning from that intellectual faith to one that is more embodied, even when our faith may falter at times, even if we go dumb with doubt, in the fullness of time, with the birth of a divine idea in our mind, we regain all that we had and more. This is the grace of God moving through you. This is the goodness of God moving through you. I believe the author of the Gospel of Luke wanted to give us a heads up, saying, hey, we're leaving the world of intellect only. We are here to reason and see with our heart. Here, moving into the realm of spirit. Reasoning with spiritual principles, not looking at appearances. And that's a spiritual journey. A journey not only of reason, but of heart, of looking beyond appearances to see the divine. But how do we use this power in the midst of difficult times? So I recently read, last week as a matter of fact, I read an article outlining all the changes the incoming administration will make in 2025 regarding the environment. And as I read it, I was overwhelmed with it and also very depressed about it. I really began to feel hopeless. And then I had kind of a come to Jesus moment, and then I remembered, oh yeah, I'm talking about faith on Sunday. So that was kind of a wake-up call for me. It's like, where is my faith in this circumstance? You know, so I had to go back to basics, which is a great way to get grounded again, knowing that God is present everywhere, active in the universe, active in our lives. And I can remember then that I can choose to see with a spiritual lens, seeing God present, and focus not on the problem but on the solution. I can choose to focus not on discord but on harmony. I can choose to focus not on hatred but on love. And I can remember that individually and collectively, we are creating our life's experience here on earth. That perceiving power of faith is the engine behind the creation. We are creating it, the expectation and hope that we hold collectively in our hearts. And don't you know, as soon as I made that shift, something came up on my laptop, which is where I was. I mean, I wasn't making the shift on my laptop, but then kind of like the next thing I saw on my laptop was a book review for this book, What If We Get It Right? What if we get it right? Visions of a Climate Future, by Zacharias and Elizabeth Johnson. She is a marine biologist and also an environmental activist. And as I was reading the review, this popped off the page for me. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do while facing an existential crisis is imagine life on the other side. That's faith, imagining life on the other side. Seeing the possibilities. And then, of course, we move our feet, right? So I am the faith of God, and so are you. So are you. I may not have the solutions for everything, but I can certainly do my part in some things. I can walk gently with creation. I can help bring forth a new earth here, a heaven on earth, if you will. I can place my faith, my powerful and creative faith, in the goodness of God. In 2017, Jacob Hendel was living a normal life as a chef in the Boston area, but in a short amount of weeks even, his life turned completely upside down. He was diagnosed in a room full of 8 doctors with acute, toxic, progressive, I don't know how to pronounce this, it's 19 letters, so I'll let you try. Leukoencephalopathy. Yeah. Anyway, this condition turns into complete paralysis. It's into locked-in syndrome is what they call it. It's slow, and it happened to Jacob. He ended up paralyzed and unable to talk or blink within a short span. Actually within 5 months, he was at stage 4, which he was told nobody ever recovers from. He was told he would enter into a coma and just pass away. But he is the first person who recovered from stage 4 acute toxic progressive leukemia. He lost the ability to walk within weeks of the diagnosis. He became wheelchair bound, and then he soon lost the ability to speak. First came chronic pain, then fevers, and 3 months after that he was completely paralyzed, couldn't even blink. He said it was like being trapped. Your brain is totally intact, but you can't communicate. He could hear everything that was going on around him, though. He heard the nurses gossiping, but it was such a nightmare for him. He began to wonder whether, in fact, he had already died, or if maybe he was hallucinating. He was hopeful about that. After 10 months, living 5 months in this shutdown, trapped within his own mind, a nurse noticed him moving his wrist. First movement in five months, yes. And you can imagine that at the hospital was in an uproar, getting doctors out there, and everybody's like standing over him, do it again, and they wanted to see that if he could control his wrist. And he knew that it's his one shot. If he didn't move it then, they would not believe that he could recover at all. But he focused everything he could on moving his wrist. He regained the ability to blink shortly thereafter. which allowed him to communicate once more. And then he regained the ability to speak, and the first words he said were, "I love you," to his family. Rehabilitation took a year and a half, and then after surgeries and physical therapies, by 2020, 3 years after the diagnosis, he was able to walk. Not without help, but able to walk. Now, I guarantee you people were praying for him. I would imagine Jacob was praying for himself, too. There are no atheists in the foxhole, right? Yeah. And he believed he could get well. His faith, I believe, made him whole. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, tells us faith is the highest expression of belief or confidence. It is that something in us which says, I believe in the possibilities of things that I cannot see. The things that we cannot see, the things of the Spirit, the things of God. Fillmore goes on to tell us how we can develop this quality of faith within us. Now, this faith that we are all cultivating and striving for is built up through continuous affirmations of its loyalty to the divine idea, the higher self. You must have faith in your spiritual capacity. I probably could have done without the first sentence and just put that last one up, right? Because that's what it boils down to. Having faith in who you are as an expression of spirit, who you are as wholly human and yet wholly divine as well. We are made in the image and likeness of God. We are a spiritual being. So I invite you, before we go into a time of meditation, to join me in our affirmation. Together, I move beyond appearances and place my faith in my ability to see oneness. So let's take some time now. As we settle in, we close our eyes, if you like, or gaze softly on the floor. Begin paying attention to your breath, the inhale and the exhale. Calming the thoughts, relaxing the body. And as we move into a time of silence, it's an inner silence, trying to not become engaged with our thoughts. It's okay if you do. We just bring it back to either the breath or a couple affirmations, which I'll share with you. To build up this faith power within. I am one with Spirit. I am one with Spirit. Spirit is centered in me, and I am centered in Spirit. Spirit is centered in me, and I am centered in Spirit. I am one with Spirit. In the silence. And as we continue to sit restfully, I invite Joe to come and play the next song.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love.
I invite you to join me in our prosperity affirmation, our offertory affirmation together. Prosperity flows freely through our church, nourishing our ministry while encouraging lives.
Touch.
We are
Grateful stewards of all that is given.
Using it wisely to create a legacy of love and service. And now we have another song.
So Sandy was just talking about going to the inner altar of our spirit, and the story of, and how so much change is going on right now that it's a little scary. So I wrote this song because it is about us coming together, about us being a community, and about us keeping love in our heart. And it's called Like the Sunrise in the Morning. Today, when we rise and clouds fill up the sky and hope is thin and fear settles in, the road may be rough and our dreams seem far away, and the weight of the world is heavy and gray. But with the sunrise in the morning, we'll light up a new day. Like the sunrise in the morning, our dreams will guide the way. With every step, the darkness fades away, and our path is clear. My friends, we're here to stay. So take a breath and gather around the fire, and we'll sing the songs that take our spirits higher. Like the sunrise in the morning, we'll light a new day. Like the sunrise in the morning, our dreams will guide the way. From the shores to the mountains, our voice is loud and clear. In the fields of dreams, we cast away our fears. As beacons of light, with kindness as our shields, we'll cross the bridge to help each other heal. Like the sunrise in the morning, we'll light a new day. Like the sunrise in the morning, our dreams will guide the way. So take my hand, and we will make a stand. face the storm. Together hand in hand, we'll weave the threads of courage to our soul, and in unity we'll make each other whole. Like the sunrise in the morning, we'll light a little day. Like the sunrise in the morning, our dreams will guide the way.
Thank you, Joe. So we do have a few announcements, my friends. With this Wednesday is a sound bath at 7 p.m. And on Friday, we have the Knitters and Crocheters meeting. You can check with Amy Burnett on that. Or Kirsten, I guess, is also part of it. Diane as well. And then also Friday, oops, I forgot. We're having our dinner and holiday music with Brent and Patty. I'm going to pass this around. If you're coming, please sign up. And then this other thing I'm passing around, we'll get to in a second. So if you could hold on to that just a second. Okay. There we go. Dances of Universal Peace every second Sunday. Beautiful time of singing, chanting, and easy movements, which we're going to explore a little later on today, just to give you a heads up. Our winter solstice dance workshop is coming up on the 14th. There are flyers for everything. There's flyers for everything back there. Remembrance Gathering led by Ann on the 21st, and a Christmas service and potluck on Christmas Day at 11 o'clock. And then the Burning Bowl just a little further out so that you know. I know that a lot of you really appreciate the Burning Bowl last Sunday of the month. And then a vision board and luncheon on January 1st. A way to start the new year with a clear vision of how you want to be in the new year. And meditation retreat, which I'm pretty excited by. This is being led by my friend, Reverend Patricia Lansky, and there are flyers for it. It is an all-day retreat. You'll be able to explore different types of meditation and awareness, mindfulness practices. I think she's got some chanting as well going on with that. And then if we could move the chairs out at the end of service. Now, as promised, I wanted to talk about this one particular sign-up sheet for volunteer opportunities, service opportunities. We commit for a year beginning in January. I want you to really discern what is yours to do. And if you're a friendly, outgoing person, then you may want to be a greeter. If you're more comfortable in the behind the scenes, there are plenty of jobs for that as well. I invite you just to put down one thing for now, and then we'll pass it around again next week and we'll fill up the blanks. But I want everybody to have an opportunity to choose what they want to do, okay? And then the membership renewal cards. Every year, according to our bylaws, members need to renew their membership. And it's really renewing your commitment to this, your spiritual path, renewing your commitment to support this church through attendance, through donations, through, prayers too. And so the membership renewal cards are in the back next to the tie-dye box. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's there. Just fill it out after discerning if you want to continue on with your membership year. For those who just became members, you do not need to fill one out this year. Okay? I saw the question. Okay. Okay. So we have another song while the sign-up sheets are going on. There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandy. So this is a wonderful congregation. I always feel grateful to be able to come here. And these two songs that I've done, the last one and this one, are brand new. I've just written them in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And this is the first time I've actually played them in public. So thank you for that. This song is called Lifelong Friends. And And like many here, I've been blessed with friends from when I was preschool that I still have today. And I think we're all grateful for all of the friends and family that we have. And even if they're new friends, they will probably remain friends for the rest of your life. So in that respect, they're all lifelong friends. So this is my feelings on that. Through the chapters of our lives, the echoes of our past, bonds of time keep us together. In the tapestry we weave, the patterns of our dreams, woven in the fabric of time, like aging wine, there all the time, a vintage ever sublime, lifelong friends and family, through the storm right next to me, in this world where things can go right. You're my rock, my dearest friend, likely to the end, bound like stones upon the bridge. You're the roots beneath my tree, the strength that sets me free, standing tall against the wind, like aging wine, there all the time, a vintage ever sublime, lifelong friends and family, through the storm right next to me, in this world where things can go right. With you I find my place, an ever-strong embrace, a blessing through the darkest night. With you the world is right, a steady hand of light, comfort to my very soul, like aging wine, there all the time, a vintage ever sublime, lifelong friends and family, through the storm right next to me, in this world where things can go right, and all through the laughter, the memories we've shared through the years, and all through the sorrows, the sadness, and all the tears, because you
to our Facebook friends, and just thank you for your support, for being part of this community. We love you. We appreciate you.